Hey there, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, hoping to give you an update on the forecast, maybe as you're heading out to lunch today. And if you remember, this time last week, we were in a winter wonderland. Definitely not the case today. In fact, we have a much more mild forecast on tap, even a little spring-like at times by the end of the week. But this time last week, we were seeing our historic snowstorm. Hopefully you enjoyed it while it lasted, because based off of the forecast this upcoming week, we are not going to be seeing anything like that for quite some time. And it was a historic snowstorm. We did end up with 7 inches recorded in Gulfport, so that did tie the record. But as for the rest of today, things are looking pretty mild. Not seeing a ton of sunshine out there at this time. Heading into lunch, if you're going to be wrapping up your lunch break here shortly. Temperatures right now, though, not too bad. Very typical for this time of the year. We're in the mid to upper 50s, a little bit closer to the coast, a bit farther inland. We're seeing more of those low to mid 60s. And this morning, we started off well above freezing in the upper 40s to low 50s. A little bit of a chill in the air, but nothing that we can't handle. And in fact, those morning lows were actually a little bit above average for this time of the year. Typically at the end of January, we have morning lows in the low 40s, but we started off well above freezing thanks to some cloud cover sticking around, and some of that is sticking around right now as we speak. But again, this time last week, it was a much different story. We had several mornings with temperatures below freezing, and we did see that temperature hit 7 degrees in Gulfport. That was last Wednesday morning. That is the third all-time coldest temperature ever recorded in Gulfport. Of course, last week as well, with all that snow, we had temperatures, high temperatures, not even getting out of the 30s. However, by the 23rd, 24th, 25th, this past weekend, we did see those temperatures recover into the 50s. Now, we've had big temperature swings where we've had temperatures below freezing, and then we've managed to get above freezing throughout the day. I am a little concerned that we may be seeing more potholes over the next several weeks because of the snow, the ice, and those temperatures swinging anywhere from below freezing to above freezing. So how do potholes even form? So we get water to seep through the cracks in the roads that collects underneath, and it softens some of the roads, makes it a little bit weaker. What happens is once we get some water to seep in and it freezes, just like what we had last week, some of that pavement is forced upwards as it expands. Now, as we are heading into this mild pattern and things are also looking a little bit drier, could see some potholes develop. Traffic also adding some extra stress on that pavement as we continuously drive over those weekend spots. Once we get that drier weather to arrive, the water dissipates. It leaves a hole underneath the pavement. And so as we continue to drive on those weekend spots, we see the pavement start to collapse into a hole. Thus, a pothole forms. And I will say, with all of the snow refreezing, melting last week, that's likely going to be causing some weaknesses, even more so in the pavement over the next several days. So I would not be shocked over the next couple of weeks we continue to see more and more potholes. And just a heads up, New Orleans, they already are dealing with tons of potholes regardless of the weather. It seems like that could even be a worse situation across the New Orleans area. So a heads up if you're driving into New Orleans, and also here across the Mississippi coast. Potholes may become more of an issue over the next several weeks. Weather-wise, though, it is feeling pretty nice, and today it's mild. The next several days we will continue to warm up despite seeing some cloud cover. I do expect to see more cloud cover stream in today and also into tomorrow. We can see that on satellite this morning pretty easily. All of those higher thin clouds moving in from the west, and those are caught in the upper level winds of the atmosphere. And as we take a look at the upper levels, we have an area of low pressure along the west coast, an area of high pressure more so over the Gulf, and we are caught in that southwest flow aloft, that westerly flow that's streaming in some of that water vapor in the upper levels. Thus, we've got some of those high thin clouds. A little bit of some filtered sunshine, I will say. The clouds not overly thick, so a little bit of that sun still peeking through the clouds, but in general, we're looking at a mostly cloudy sky heading into the rest of our Tuesday. Temperatures likely going to be topping out in the low to mid 60s this afternoon. And with those clouds sticking around tonight, we're not cooling down too much. We'll drop into the upper 40s and low 50s by early Wednesday morning. Could see some patchy fog once again. We would more so see some sea fog develop tonight into tomorrow as we get some warmer air to move over the cooler water in the Sound. That may also be the case, just a heads up, on Thursday morning as well. By Wednesday afternoon, we are expecting temperatures back into the upper 60s, a little bit above average for this time of the year, and that's with the cloud cover. If we see a few more peaks of sunshine, I wouldn't be surprised if we had some spots reach the low 70s. As we head into Thursday morning, again with that warmer air moving over the Sound, we're getting more of that southeast wind. That's where we may have a better chance of seeing some sea fog, and it could be dense in some spots along the coast. A heads up for Thursday morning. By the afternoon, if we see more sunshine, we'll have a better chance of reaching the upper 60s and the low 70s. Now, with that southeast wind, that's going to help to increase the moisture ahead of our next front. And that front is likely going to bring with it a line of showers and storms by early Friday morning. The severe weather threat at this time Thursday night into Friday looking pretty minimal for South Mississippi. Looks like the better ingredients for severe weather more so going to be to our north and west by Thursday night and into Friday. But we may hear some rumbles of thunder very early Friday morning. At this time, it looks like most of the rain is going to be moving out of the way by Friday afternoon, and that's going to set us up for some phenomenal weather this weekend. Already make some outdoor plans if you want to. If you had cabin fever last week with the snow and the cold, this weekend is looking almost picture perfect. We are expecting more sunshine by Saturday and Sunday. High temperatures at least in the mid to upper 60s. Inland areas, you may even be reaching the 70s. We may have to up those temperatures a little bit just based off of current trends. So sunshine expected Saturday and into Sunday. Rain chances not even in the forecast. So if you have any plans to be outside, you are good to go. And if you don't have any plans to be outside, may I suggest making some because the weather is just looking really, really nice. And a heads up too that these are the first 2 days of February. February 1st is on Saturday, Groundhog Day, February 2nd. That is this upcoming Sunday. Just looking even beyond that, it looks like our pattern is going to be setting us up for some warmer than average temperatures throughout the first few days of February. So the groundhog, I would say at this point, should be forecasting an early spring, at least for us here along the Gulf Coast. Cooler than average temperatures, though, that's more so expected in the Pacific Northwest. The upper level pattern is going to be setting us up for that warmer pattern, and that's because we are looking at a ridge of high pressure building in over the Gulf and more so over Florida. That's going to allow some warmer air to move in from the south. Cooler weather, though, expected in the Pacific Northwest where they have a trough or an area of low pressure, but throughout the southern half of the country, it looks like we're going to be feeling the influence of that ridge of high pressure, keeping us warm, also maybe keeping us a little bit drier. Rain chances after Friday pretty much looking slim to none. Not really expecting a lot of rainfall as we head into the first few days of February. But it is going to be fantastic to spend some time outside. Tomorrow, we're starting off that warming trend with highs in the upper 60s. That will continue into the weekend. The difference during the weekend, though, is that without as much cloud cover, we will be able to cool down at night even more. So Saturday and Sunday mornings, they are going to be chilly. No freezes in the forecast at this point, but we are anticipating those morning lows to get back into the 40s. But by the afternoons, you're not going to need the jacket. You can probably get away with some short sleeve shirts, especially with more of that sunshine and with high temperatures in the upper 60s. And we will continue to keep that going into Monday and Tuesday of next week. And while right now we have that high temperature at 69, we may have to adjust that, bump up those temperatures a little bit more into the low 70s. So for those of you that have been wanting more of some spring-like weather, we are delivering that this upcoming week or throughout the rest of the week. And by next week. So a much different picture than what we had last week with the snow and the Arctic air. This week, we are anticipating those above average temperatures, emphasizing again that the weekend is looking beautiful. We'll have to go through some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms on Friday. Those are going to be pretty short-lived by the end of Friday. I'm expecting most of the rain to be out of the way. And again, that will set us up for some fantastic weather this upcoming weekend. So with that being said, hopefully everybody has enjoyed their lunch break, or maybe you're going to be taking that lunch break here shortly. Weather-wise, looks really nice. I think we have a lot to look forward to over the next several days. We will have another update on the forecast coming up today during our 4 o'clock show, and also at 5 o'clock I will be delivering that forecast, and Eric will have the very latest tonight for a later evening newscast at 6:30, and also 10 o'clock. So that being said, hopefully everybody enjoys the rest of their Tuesday and enjoys the more mild weather this upcoming week.